When they have 15 million people as a subscriber base, should you really be doing illegal stuff? I know that's how they got started and how they got big and popular and they're trying to go back to their roots. You're going to get dinged for this stuff eventually. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Florio. Welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. Either way, it is good to have you here. In this video, I wanted to kind of cover off some things about Sam and Colby's Hell Month or whatever for 2025. There's a few issues that really my concern is more about their videos about the devil, whatever summoning that they did. And then there's some stuff with the Conjuring house as well. Go check out Seg's video on them. He also covers it too, but we'll talk a bit about that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through each of their videos and we're going to discuss some of the issues and things that I just have an issue with myself personally, and I thought I would make a video about it. I'm going to try to do minimal footage. So this video, I'm going to be doing light research, light editing, just really more simplified stuff because I'm working on the next psychic deep dive for you guys and it requires a lot of research. Now I'm going to go in a bit of a different order than what they released their videos. I have more to say about the devil video and the Conjuring house. So I'm going to do the island first and then the catacombs and then we're going to do the devil one and then the Conjuring house. Okay, so let's get started. Poveglia Island, Italy.
Poveglia Island. Legend has it that over 100,000 Black Plague victims were buried here. Some even say that 50% of the island's dirt is actually human ash.
This is actually known as the world's most haunted island, and we're about to do one of the very first ghost hunts. But again, guys, it's super illegal to go here, so there's a high chance we might either get arrested or even worse, stranded.
So they start their first Hell Week episode is on Poveglia Island in Italy. And again, I'm not going to show too much footage in this video. So let me just give you a little bit of a rundown. This island here, it is illegal to go there. And it's illegal to go there because it's unsafe. It's got old buildings and stuff. So there's a bunch of history with this island. It was an asylum at one point. It was a hospital for people with tuberculosis. Apparently over 100,000 people are buried there from the Black Plague. There is folklore about this doctor that apparently he was doing illegal stuff to people trying to find a cure for mental illness, and then he was caught or something, and then he either was pushed or he jumped off a bell tower. I did look into that and none of it's true. So I'll show you that in a second. It's just a local myth. Some points that I want to go over briefly with this island. Let's go over some of my notes. So first off, I kind of looked on Reddit. What are people saying? What are people saying on reviews and different things like that? What are people saying around the internet? So some people, they felt that Sam and Colby were disrespectful because they really didn't seem very authentic, which they really didn't. And they just kind of seemed like it was like shock value, like they were worried about getting caught by the cops or whatever. Like they were really pushing that this is illegal and we're doing something illegal, which when they have 15 million people as a subscriber base, should you really be doing illegal stuff? I know that's how they got started and how they got big and popular and they're trying to go back to their roots. You're going to get dinged for this stuff eventually. Now, I did look into the legality about this island. When I looked into it, it looks like it's just a fine. Like they wouldn't go to jail or anything. Two, you can get special permission to access the island through the municipality of Venice. And it's very possible that they actually got permission for all these places and they're just acting like they're going there illegally. It's just, it could be for the cameras. We don't know for sure. So like I said, the island is not safe. It has a lot of ruins and collapsed structures. So it's risky going in these buildings because you can get hurt. We're going to take a look at a couple of things here. Locals are saying that a lot of people go there in the summer. They stay on the island. They sleep on the island. Young people go there for barbecues and stuff. It's a hangout place. So it's not really like that illegal. Like there's no like cops constantly circling it, which they were acting that way. But I think it was because Jeff Bezos was getting married that day and it was nearby, and that's where all the cops were around, and that's all I think it was. And they're making a big deal of it, like they were going to get caught and all this other stuff. And I think they were, playing it for the camera as well. Some people did mention too that there is a Facebook group for this island, which you can see here. And actually, I think it's a whole page. And they post pictures of people going to the island. They do videos. Like there's constantly people going and coming from the island. So it's not like that intense and crazy that it's just completely inaccessible, you know, like people do go there, even if it's illegal. But when I looked it up, it's just a fine. So they really overplay that. I just want to show you guys this because it is quite overplayed. I'm going to take a look at a couple of clips from their footage here. So number one, this one here, this is the guy that's on the boat that's taking them to the island. He tells them, you're laughing about all these people who pass there, but I don't know, the way that he said it, it sounds like he's pretty much saying like, you guys are laughing, kind of acting disrespectful. A lot of people pass away there. Think about that. But I'll play this and you tell me what you guys think about it.
I've been here 10 years. This is the second time.
Second time?
You guys are laughing, but this is no laughing matter. There's a lot of tragedy. There's a lot of pain embedded in that island. I'm not a very superstitious guy, but you guys are going to feel the energy when you go there.
That clip I wanted to kind of play because a lot of people were saying that they felt that they were being really disrespectful of that island. And then with like Paris Catacombs, a lot of people were feeling that way too, about them kind of being disrespectful of all the people who passed away there. Now, this little clip I want to play you too is they're overreacting about this boat. The boat they went to get gas. The boat was having trouble starting and they're freaking out and overreacting and trying to make a big deal of it. Watch the guy who's taking them on the boat, his face, and he starts laughing at them. So like, it makes me wonder how much they're hamming stuff up for the camera, right? Like he kind of tells them stop laughing when you're talking about all these people who passed away, and then when they're making a big deal of something that's not really a big deal, like he probably told them it's okay, well, the boat does that, I'll figure it out, it's fine, and then they're making a big deal of it, and it kind of seems like he's laughing about it, that them overreacting about this. So I'll play this for you here.
What do we do?
That's not it. Like, actually, we just...
We're good.
Let's go, baby! Oh, perfect, got it!
I mean, that means we can get there, but can we get back?
Let me know what you guys think, if that was like him laughing at them or if he's just like nervous laughing. I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit interesting to watch the boat guy's face about it, and if he's hamming it up for the camera with them or what's happening there. It's just kind of interesting because he's not like part of one of their crew. He's a guy who lives there and has a boat and is willing to take them out, right? So some other points I want to kind of talk about too. When they get to the island, they find an entrance to the building really quickly. Like they're like sneaking on there and freaking out someone's going to see them, and they find an entrance like really quickly, which makes me wonder if they've done any prep on this, but they do seem like they get lost at some point. So I'm just curious how much of all these ghost hunters, different YouTubers too, like how much are they scripting or pre-planning this stuff? I'm just curious about that. I start to wonder these things now. Also, an alarm sound was going off when they got there, but on Reddit, some people explain that it's one of the birds or the owls that are pretty common around this area. And as well, they explained about the mad doctor, the doctor who went crazy and hurt somebody. Apparently he passed away in 1968, and then that's why they shut everything down. But there's no record that this doctor exists as well. Let's take a quick look at that. The doctor's name is supposedly Dr. Paolo of Poveglia Island. And I started trying to research this to figure out, did a doctor actually do this and did he pass away there? People are saying there's no official records of the evil doctor's name. He was named that by some frightened locals. When I was looking for proof of his death, then Google was telling me that he's just a figure of legend and there's no historically documented person. So I started looking at some of the different websites and stuff, trying to find more answers on this. Now, in here, it gives a little bit more information. It was asylum in the year 1922, and it closed down in 1968. Supposedly, these experiments were being done by this doctor, but it goes on to say here, it's important to note that these stories are considered local legends and lack substantial historical documentation. While the island did serve as quarantine station for plague victims and later as a facility for the mentally ill and elderly until 1968, there's no official records or physical evidence of a specific mad doctor in an operating room, such as the atrocities that people say. The actual history of the island involved thousands of deaths from the plague and subsequent mass burials and cremations. And it's rumored that 50% of the island's soil is human ash. So there's also questions of like how many people actually died there from the plague. And that's the other thing too. Then I started looking at some of the websites. So Poveglia's history or lack thereof. And this person goes on to explain that there's a surprising lack of documentation on the island. So there is documentation that it was an insane asylum at one point and a quarantine area. And obviously people with TB ended up there. That was pretty common back then when the TB pandemics were going on. People were trying to find ways. So, but there's no explanation as to any monastery that was abandoned there. There's no documentation of this doctor. Even this person goes on to say, I don't think that there's anyone in Venice that believes the legends around the island. Even apparently there's no documentation that it actually closed down in 1968 too. So a lot of it is just local legend. So they go on to explain all this in this website. There's a lot of information here as well if you guys want to check it out too. Okay, another website. There's a History Walks website as well. And it goes on to explain about the doctor too. It says archaeologists have excavated some mass graves with thousands of victims. And again, it's probably from the plague and tuberculosis, right? As for the doctor, there's never been any operating rooms in the hospital on Poveglia, which is where the story had happened in these operating rooms. So there's no proof of it. Here as well, some people commented that apparently this doctor thing, some people are saying it started with Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures, but I found elsewhere that it's been a myth going around for a while. This person even says, I looked at a lot of the posts and records of the place, and a lot of people who live in Venice just go there, chill and grill. Some even sleep on the island in the summer, which is what we found as well. The alarm sound that they hear is an owl species called the Asiolo, and it's a lot of them are in Venice in the summertime. So it's this owl here. So that is good to know because they never actually do debunk anything in any of their videos too. And yeah, and then talk about the Facebook group, which I showed you guys too. Okay, and then this person, she sounded like a local. They said 8 people are buried there. I wonder though with the mass graves, I'd have to look into it more and I don't want to do it for this video. But over the years with hospital, quarantine hospital, retirement home, but never an asylum for the mentally ill. So there's no, and that's thing, the other websites did say there's no documentation of exactly what everything was and when it closed and why it closed and different things. And then it says that the old people from Venice know all this and that they created the myth so the kids wouldn't go there because it's dangerous to the old buildings, which would make sense to be honest. I did hear back from Spaghetti Paranormale. So he did confirm what I was seeing online is that people were saying that hundreds of thousands of people didn't die there. Even 1,000 people didn't die there. He actually said that only 90 people only 20 people died from disease in a 9-year span on that island. So that island actually wasn't, there's no proof that any of this stuff actually happened. He made a video on this island from a while ago. He's going to do a new updated video as well. He lives in Italy, by the way, if that wasn't clear. He's telling me that apparently Dark Arts also did a video on the island. So it sounds like the island is not that dangerous or unsafe to go like sneak onto. It sounds like people go and do it all the time. Okay, so then they wander around the island. They get lost. It's a lot of just random sort of urbex thing. Not really great, but just whatever. They're kind of lost in foresty area. They end up going in a circle. They end up back where they started. They do about half an hour of this. It's kind of boring. Then they do a Q&A with debunked gadgets, Alice box or whatever, Talkie Talk boxes. Then they decide they want to go to another area and they think they see a cop boat, like a police officer boat. They make a big deal of that, but nothing really comes of it. I don't really know if it was really that. I think that they overdid it on it. They go to another spot. They use more of the gadgets. Oh, they use especially the DR60 and they freak out about that because they're trying to talk to the doctor and they think the doctor's talking to them through the DR60, but we all know the DR60 is a piece of crap. Nothing happened. They did their usual dude bro BS they do. Then I Googled how old they are because like this is getting ridiculous and apparently they're still in their 20s. So okay, whatever. We'll give them until they're 30 and then they should probably calm down on this stuff. Then they cosplay as plague doctors. Colby's silent acting is horrible. Then they do this ritual that the priestess give them, that Pythia priestess that's in their other videos. She gives them that. Colby then stares at a planchette, then starts scrying in a mirror, but he only spends about 2 seconds scrying into the mirror. It's like 30 seconds. It's not very long. And then he puts a blindfold on, then he puts the headphones on to do the Estes. That's scrying. You keep looking like you're when you do scrying in a mirror, you stay looking and scrying in the mirror. You look into the mirror. Like, that's the whole point. Him only spending 30 seconds on it to then do Estes. It's like, well, why'd you even do that? And nothing happened. I think that they thought he was connecting or something. I don't know what this priestess is telling them, but that was stupid. Here, I'm going to show you actually a clip of Colby's acting with this mirror in the planchette. It's It's god awful.
The priestess sent me this planchette, and she said this is very dangerous, but if I look through the eye of it, is what it's called, I'm literally looking through the spirit realm, and also looking at a mirror, just like a psychomantium experiment that we've done in the past. And it said that if I do this, I will be put into a trance while listening to this induction. So, let's pray really quick. It's time to start. I'm going to play this induction. I'm going to be looking through the Ouija planchette, while also using the psychomantium method. Here we go.
The veil is thin, I see within. 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 The veil is thin, I see within.
Do you feel like you're in a trance?
I'm not even kidding. I've been staring at myself in the eyes, and I can barely see you guys behind me, but everything around my head is blurry and shadowy.
That's a good sign. Calling all spirits, use this portal to communicate with us. Please come to our devices and communicate. Let's begin the Estes.
Then they do Estes, and they're sitting 10 inches away from Colby. Now those headphones are blocking any audio that's coming in. Like, I don't know. The Estes stuff on all these videos, it's such a cop-out and such an easy way to fake stuff. Then they keep thinking that there's people walking by. It's an island, it's got animals, it's got birds, whatever. Then a pigeon flies at them. All the noises that they keep thinking they're hearing is probably a pigeon.
Torture.
Oh my god! It's like we pissed this guy off. Oh my god! Why are we all flying in? I don't know. What's happening? You know, like in like demon movies, like they rush in here and they hit
I
the
just hear
window.
laughing.
So yeah, then they try to make the bird part of some demonic sign or something like that, of course. Gotta try to make it work for the video. Then the whole time that they keep thinking that they're hearing people and things like that, but they don't move, they don't take off, they don't hide, they don't turn off their lights. They just keep overreacting and thinking people are around. And I think that they know it's animals, because when their ride shows up, then suddenly, then they actually freak out, turn off all the lights and try to hide in the trees and stuff, right? But then turns out it's the guy on the boat. Then they leave the island. That's the end of the episode. So like I said, I'm going to work through these kind of quicker. There's other videos that I want to kind of concentrate on. So let's move on to the next video. The Paris Catacombs. So they start off the video saying, again, this is illegal, which it is technically. And then they say that they could die, which they could in the catacombs as well. They go down into the catacombs. They don't show where they entered in, which is good because, you know, you don't want to encourage people to go to an entrance. You don't want to encourage people to even go down there, to be honest. They have a lot of audience, a lot of people that they can sway, and I don't think that they necessarily remember all the details to explain to their audience. This is my only issue with the Catacombs video. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like that they should explain to their audience so that the kids watching them don't go out and do stupid things, right, and get hurt. So half of them don't have proper equipment because they lost their bags, and I guess they bought stuff for themselves but didn't buy stuff for other people who were with them. I don't really understand that. They travel through a lot of water, which really isn't that safe to do, like water that's down there. Apparently it rained that day in Paris, so the water is like twice as deep. So that's good because that means that the water moves around a little bit, so bacteria won't like stick in it for too long. But it's still a risk because it can't be safe water to be wading around it and have your clothes soaked the whole time, which they were, like everyone was soaked. Even their waders that they had still weren't high enough. Everybody got soaked. And I feel like they should be talking to their audience about this stuff because this video is very much more like an urbex video versus like any sort of ghost hunting. There's a little bit of ghost hunting, but it was mainly urbex. And they don't really explain to their audience like standing water. If you go to like an abandoned place or you go exploring like this, standing water is really unsafe, as well as dead air. And I feel like they should talk to their audience about this, and they should be wearing like some more protective gear or explain protective gear that maybe they have with them just in case. With 50 million people, I just think that they should be more responsible about explaining this kind of stuff, because urbex can be fun, but it can be very dangerous if you don't prepare properly. People have actually died from stale air, the dead air, and from stale water, like standing water, right? Because it's filled with bacteria and that air is super dangerous. So it's just something that I think they should be going over safety measures when they're doing urban exploration. And then even with this video too, they're also doing illegal things again. So it's like, should they do that? Don't they have a lot of kids watching them? Like, I don't know. I feel like this is starting to go a slippery slope. They end up actually doing some spelunking as well in the catacombs to get to where they want. And it's very tight cave systems and things. And I do feel like that they should kind of talk a little bit about the dangers of spelunking too. When you watch other urban explorers or spelunkers, when they put videos up on YouTube, you can see all the gear they have. You can see all the safety measures that they go through and the way they check on each other. I just feel like that was missing from this video. And I think that that should have been in this video as well. Also, apparently there's gangs down the catacombs too. And they do warn people about that. So that's good that they warn them about that. But it's kind of risky going down there doing this gang thing. And then they go, there's like this cataphile thing, I guess, in Paris. I don't know if it's like actually a thing in Paris, but they say people become cataphiles. So there's like a list of things they have to do. They have to baptize themselves with some water. They have to sit in this bone throne. They have to do a few things. So they go around and do that. Them baptizing themselves in that water. It looked like it was running with some raindrops, like it was moving. So that's good. But like they were putting their face in there. And I just feel like, you know, there could be like a dead rat or something in there for all you know. It's really risky doing that. You really shouldn't do that. As well, when they're traveling, then they talk about how they can hear people in the subway. They can hear like subway trains going. They can hear music and stuff. So like this isn't a place to do a ghost hunt. There's so much noise pollution that is in there. A lot of people felt like they're very disrespectful around the bones, and I can see that. They do a lot of joking and laughing and screaming and dude bros, and meanwhile they're surrounded by tons of people's bones that have passed away, right? So at some point, you know, I feel like it's just, I don't know. It's tough because it feels like paranormal videos are starting to really, whatever, tourism, whatever, they're starting to cross into this path of where's the morality? Like, where's the line? And I think that people are starting to reach that, even with true crime. I've noticed a lot of people are getting frustrated with true crime, YouTubers and documentaries and stuff, just messing everything up and not having really respect for anybody. So it's kind of like that. I will show you as well Colby sitting in the bone throne, and like they're sitting on bones and they're joking around and they're doing Estes and stuff. And I don't know. I can see how it's disrespectful. I understand why people feel it's disrespectful.
All right, guys, so we're about to do the Estes method. Drew, just so you know, this is a sensory deprivation.
Also, I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, if I discuss any clips, I'm going to show you something, and if it's ever missing in the future, it's because they claimed it or copyrighted or whatever, and I'm just going to remove it and edit the video and just remove it completely. As well in this video, what else did they do? They then tried to leave, but they couldn't leave the way they came in, I guess, too, because Sam is claustrophobic. I wouldn't want to go down there either, so I get that. They tried to find a different exit that the guys with them knows about these different exits, but he hasn't been down there for like 6 months or something like that. So they end up lost or whatever. They end up not really lost. They end up not finding all these exits and they start panicking and freaking out. And a few months back, people saw that they had this tweet go out that was like, if this is going out, that means that we're lost in the catacombs and we're probably dead or something, right? And it caused like a big stir with that. They end up eventually finding an exit. And when they exit, there's a cop that sees them and they show a guy on camera, but it turns out that this guy isn't a police officer at all, actually. There's some people explained about the uniform that he's wearing and people who like live in Paris. And they're like, that's not even a police officer. But they then put like captions to try to act like it was a police officer. Okay, I'm just going to show you them exiting the hole, and this guy talks to them and what he's wearing, and then we'll take a look at what some locals said about, first of all, they translated what the guy said, and then they talked about the uniform.
Hello. How are you? And I'm French. Merci pour ça. Ils étaient combien là? Là, on est 6, 5. Ok. On va voir, parce que j'ai pas mal de potes qui font ça. Parle 15. Got it. Comment ça va aussi? Holy shit. Let's just leave from here. Yeah.
On Reddit, people were asking, what did the catacombs guide say to the officer to get them out of trouble? This person explains he wasn't a policeman, just someone working for the city. A policeman in France has a dark blue uniform, and they would be in jail if they were caught doing that, caught leaving, right? They are also never alone, at least 2 with officers. They said it was definitely not the police, and they said that they think that he just asked if they knew what they were doing because he heard the guide replied, say, yeah, me and other friends do it a lot. We know our way around. Yeah, and the outfit, it kind of looked more like a Boy Scout outfit. I think he was probably like security or maybe like a bylaw officer or something like that as well. So the outfit didn't look like a police officer uniform. This person says that they're French here. This is not a policeman, or at least I don't think so. He looks like a Boy Scout. More worried about them. Something else, basically, the convo went. They translated it. They said, hey, how many of you are there? I said 5 or 6. He said, do you need me to call an ambulance? He probably thought that they fell. And he said, no, we're fine. I have a lot of friends doing that, and I know what I'm doing. In the end, I think it was just a worried person that thought someone was hurt, because I never heard of a Boy Scout working with the police in France. Okay. I have a person on the research team who speaks French. The name is Be Not Afraid. Had them look over the footage as well, and they said that they heard them ask me like how many people are there, and 5 or 6. So it matches what people on Reddit say, just to like kind of fact check Reddit, although I already believe them anyways, but just to let you guys know. This just goes to like, this is a lie, right? That they told people on their video. So what other stuff did they lie about? They lie about a lot. My point is, like, when you catch these people in lies, you got to think about everything else they're lying about. Right. And this person also speaks French, and they were saying the same thing, the same translation about how many people were in your group and things like that. And are you okay? He asked if they needed an ambulance too. So yeah. Oh, and this person, this is why else I saved this. This person said that they literally exited the catacombs a 10 to 15 minute walk from where they entered. This person says, I've lived in Paris. A lot of my mom's family lived there, so I recognize the street. They must have been walking in circles for hours, like complete idiots. So like they literally only went a 10-minute walk down the street in the catacombs, and they acted like they were going to die, like they were lost forever. Like they made like all this drama around it. Joking in a graveyard, picking up bones, walking on them. The fact that they made catacomb merch as well. Oh, I didn't realize that they did that as well. So yeah, a lot of people weren't too happy about this. It seemed very disrespectful. Now let's move on to the next video. I had planned to release everything together as one big video, but I'm going to actually split these up into different topics. These first 2 videos I consider more as an urban exploration thing. The next video is about witches, and then the last video is the issue with the Smurl's house that they investigated. I'm going to split this up because I feel like I have different critiques about each of these topic areas, and I think that the word will get out more and the information will be consumed better if I split it into separate videos. So I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to be releasing these quicker than normal. I'm not going to wait a week in between. So the next one will be the witch video. I will release that in a couple of days, and then we'll follow up with the Smurl video lastly. And I know it's probably going to be old news by the time it releases because everyone's releasing a Smurl video, but I work slower than other people. I have fibromyalgia, migraines, and it's the fall, which is the worst time for me. So I have been on the struggle bus. So bear with me. And as well, I'd really love if you could hype the video, like, subscribe, share. If you share the video, hit the little share button. That also helps put the video in the channel into the algorithm as well. Commenting helps with the video too. I would love some help fixing an issue that recently happened with my channel, and I just need a little bit more engagement and stuff. If you guys could help out with that, it would be very much appreciated. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the members, patrons, supporters of this channel. You guys mean the world to me. Sincerely, I'm like in my struggle period of the year, and I really appreciate all the help that you guys do try to give to the channel. All right, that is the video for this week, but I'm going to release the one on witches probably in like 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days, and then we'll do the Smurl one last. So I will see you guys in the next videos. Thank you guys. Have a good night.